Hello everyone, hello, hope you're doing okay. Welcome to episode 56 of Look Back. Yeah, basically where I look back at what I reviewed 1 year ago and 5 years ago and see whether I still agree with what I gave this, what score I gave at the time, still agree with it or not. And also whether the things are still available or not. Sometimes things go out of, limited edition or just basically get, discontinued really. So it'd be interesting to see if that's the case with some of these products. And yeah, and of course it's all sweet related as well, biscuits, sweets, things like crisps, stuff like that, So yeah, if you're not familiar with the channel, that's the kind of thing we cover basically. So there we go. And also be giving away 5 memberships as well, member level memberships, support level memberships. So yeah, keep around for that. I've worked out how to do it last week. If you were here, you would have seen that basically YouTube has changed. I don't know what it's done. YouTube just move things around. So basically, I have to go a roundabout way to do what I was able to do with a couple of clicks. I'd have to do about 5 or 6, but but that's my problem, not yours. But there we go. So yeah, well, I hope you're all doing okay. And yeah, let's have a look. So I'll make a bit of a start. Then I've got to use the old graphics or what have you, get it all up and running. So it might take a couple of seconds just to let's say there's. Hang on a sec. Is that something there? Okay. I think one of the problems I've got is as well that. Sometimes it kind of does things in a bit of a funny way. Now it seems to have reverted things again. Let's see if I can sort this out. Hang on a second. Let's have a look. Okay, there we go. Right, okay. For some reason, I had this problem a few months back as well where the graphics seem to rearrange themselves. But luckily, because I was aware of what happened, it's done it again, but I knew what the problem was this time, so that's all right. All right, so let's have a look. So where are the other graphics as well? Now, plus also, by the way, a lot of these bars as well that come and go and this, that and the other. Now there are sort of a funny one. Sometimes I do look back at them and think, do I, can I remember them well enough and stuff like that? That is a problem. Now I'm always a bit unsure what to do about that. But the thing is, sometimes you just get a bit of a, you just know sometimes, don't you? I think that's the gist of it. All right. So anyway, 1 year back anyway, and I did remember a review 1 year back. Now I did a combined one actually. I can't believe this was a year ago already. It was the extra flaming hot versus battle from Walker's sort of. Basically did a Doritos Walker's Max, and I think it was like a What's It's Crunchy or something like that. A range of their sort of What's It's basically Knick Knacks, essentially their version of Knick Knacks. And they just sort of rebranded them all, had with a special flaming hot version as well. Now they have done a regular, I think just a Walker's Crisp since then, which I have also reviewed, but of course that didn't come out till a few months after, about maybe a year. Well, about 9 months after, I think, actually, maybe something like that. Anyway, so I didn't review that at the time because it wasn't available. I didn't want to re-review all of them again. So there is an extra one as well that I've reviewed, so a member exclusive. But if you're a bronze level member above, you can go watch this one if you've not seen it before. It's quite an interesting one, as I said. I'm trying to combine similar reviews nowadays. Back in the day, I used to kind of do them all separately, and it was a bit, I don't know, I wanted to kind of give everything full attention, but there's just so many things to get through. Some things are quite similar as well. I've started combining them now, and this was one such example where I thought, you know what, these are actually better to be combined, basically. And that's what I did. So, interesting one. Anyway, worth seeing, that's for sure. And, yeah, I don't know, quite interesting. Normally, I haven't done this really before, and I don't think, as I remember anyway, just do one singular flavour for all of it. That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? They just did, let's say, I don't know, ketchup flavour or something. Let's just do a Doritos ketchup flavour, Walker's Max ketchup flavour, and I don't know, What's It's or whatever. Just do just something. It'd be quite interesting just do a blanket one in the range of all their products just for a limited time. I think that'd be quite interesting, actually. So there we go. But anyway, yeah, so that was 1 year ago. So we'll move on to the 5 year ago reviews. We'll start right at the back, I think. That's usually a good way to do it. So let's get the other things up and running. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can find them. Hopefully I can. It's always a bit of a... There we go, 2024, I think. There we go, 2020. All right, there we are. There we go. All right, there we go. Found it a lot easier this time. Oh yeah, so we'll do. Now I have to do this in about 50 different ways. So I've got like 50 screens up to do. I've got one for to get a goal started as well. So I put a goal on to get super chats. I have to do that in another screen. I have to do the membership gifting in another screen as well. Now it's all. I don't know why it's all in there. YouTube just making it very difficult. I don't know why they've done that really, but there we go. So anyway, so I've got about 5 screens up. Plus all this stuff on the on this side here, to all the graphics and things. So there's a lot to manage all at once, and YouTube doesn't make it easier. But anyway, that's my problems, as I say. So there we go. So 5 years ago, what did I have? Yes, first of all, I had this. Which one was it? It's the. Let's have a look, see if I can find them. It was the McVitie's chocolate digestives, but these ones were cherry bakewell flavour. Now I've done did like the Vibs sort of very important biscuits. Did a few years back as well. I did a few interesting flavours. I think cherry flavour is one of them, but in this case they did a few of them where it's like Great British flavours, although it wasn't officially called that, but you can see there's like a sort of take on the British flag behind it. And one such one was so as I said, they weren't labelled as British flavours or Great British flavours or anything like that, but it was clear it seemed to do it heartedly, basically. Half baked, if you will, I guess you could say. So this one was a cherry bakewell flavour, and clearly like a British sort of I don't know, dessert or what have you. So this one, I gave this I gave it a 3 out of 5. Basically, it's got it's the interest is nice. It has a lovely aroma from when you open it. It tastes quite nice to start with as well. But the problem with it is the aroma fades away after a while, and of course they do say you sort of taste with your nose as well, don't they? So if the aroma goes, I think the taste also seems to go as well. And it's just not that strong a flavour, and it's the problem with all these sort of limited edition, almost all of them. Anyway, the cherry one's not quite as bad as others, I must say, but well, the cherry one was. Obviously, this one is basically cherry bakewell, so it's a bit different again. I can't quite recall, I didn't mention that it didn't have any sort of almondy taste, but I imagine it probably didn't. I imagine it was mainly just cherry sort of flavour. But it did have a bit of a interesting set of quirks going on with these, where they did manage to portray a few different flavours with them. So we'll maybe give them benefit of the doubt. But basically, long story short is with this one, the chocolate's quite thin, as is always the case with chocolate digestives, but it just wasn't, you know, it says it says cherry bakewell flavoured biscuit on it, but it's the chocolate that's flavoured. And you just don't really get that much flavour of them, really. You know, that's the problem with it all. And as I say, the flavours seem to lose potency as you went by with it, as it just seems to fade away. So chocolate digestives, though, regardless of all the flavours, are quite nice generally. They're about 3 out of 5, maybe a 3.5, but I'll say 3 out of 5, I think. So I think for this one, probably about the same, 3 out of 5. Yeah, I think it's just, you know, it's a nice product. If anything, it's closer to a 3.5 than a 2.5, that's for sure. But just the fact that the flavour's not that strong, it just really sort of renders the product not pointless, but disappointing. So yeah, so there we go. So an interesting one, that one, but just not quite executed as well as you would have liked. So another one we had quite similar to that. Yeah, this one was the marmalade on toast. Same kind of thing, because it's like a Great British flavour one. It's not called Great British Flavours or whatever. I don't know why I didn't do that, but because clearly marmalade on toast, I think that is quite a British thing. So marmalade is basically, it's just basically orange jam, isn't it? That's basically what marmalade is. I fancy it rather than just say orange jam and say marmalade. But there we go. So yeah, marmalade on toast. Now, it's an interesting one, this one, because it did actually seem to taste a bit like toast. It didn't just taste like orange or anything like that. It had a bit of something about it. You know, there was like a toasty note in there, bit of flavour going on. But again, it kind of dissipated a bit as the more the longer you had them out for, which is a bit disappointing, really. So basically, you know, you have them for a bit and then it just sort of goes away, you know, and it just becomes a bit lacklustre over time. It's the same problems as the other one, basically, and for that reason, it's pretty much the same score. So it's 3 out of 5 at the time, and a 3 out of 5 now. So there we go. Yeah. So just double check, I did give it 3 out of 5. Yes, I did. Yeah. So basically the same thing. It's just a shame, really. I mean, you know, it's good that they do these nice flavours and things like that, and these quick things, although they've not done as many of them recently. You know, I think they probably stopped them with these ones actually maybe about 5 years ago. I think anyway. They do some limited ones around Christmas time, done gingerbread ones, haven't they, and mince pie ones and things. But generally, so yeah, so a bit of a just don't quite execute these well enough in my eyes. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a shame, but yeah, I don't know what they can do, because they don't want to change the fundamental recipe of chocolate digestives. These did it by making the chocolate thicker or anything like that, but they could just add more flavouring, couldn't they? It is a flavour after all. That is what they could do, and they don't, unfortunately. So yeah, but maybe it would be too strong then. I don't know. Maybe they detract from the biscuit. I'm not sure, but that's what I think they need to do anyway. At least a bit, anyway. At least a bit. Now, these are Maltesers cake bars as well. So what was what were these? Let's have a look around them. So let's see. Oh, hang on. I've lost this now. Where's it gone? Oh, have I gone to the wrong one? No, maybe not. Now, I haven't got a note of this actually for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, hang on. I think that was probably from a year ago actually, and maybe it's in the wrong bit. Yeah. Okay. I think it was. A bit of a sneak peek then of what I'm doing later. Yes. And this one instead. Yeah, this Terry's chocolate orange bar. So it's called, I think they've slightly changed the packaging now. It doesn't quite look exactly the same. It's got a lot more orange at the bottom and things like this. I think anyway, I think so. So it's not quite the same. So this is called the Terry's chocolate orange bar. I don't think it's called that anymore, or if it looks a bit less, but a bit more. It looks a bit different. They repackaged it slightly. But yeah, this one for me. Now, Terry's chocolate orange, as you all know, it will most likely do. If you don't, it's kind of like, it's just an actual orange with lots of segments that are all, it's basically just milk chocolate, and it's got an orange flavouring in there, orange oil and this, that and the other. Really nice, and they basically just turned into a bar version of it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Terry's chocolate orange is always nice, really. It's a lovely product, generally. I do think the gimmick of the orange is partly some of it anyway. You know what I mean? It is enjoyable to have that orange experience in the sort of the actual orange form, but it's still, you know, it's still nice without it. It's still interesting. I feel like these ones do give you maybe sort of on swings and roundabouts. It takes one and gives one and takes away with the other. So the segments are a bit sort of thicker, but they're not quite as wide. So it's a bit of one of those really, you know. And I would say the actual real Terry's chocolate orange, they've sort of like, I don't know, they've reduced the chocolate in each of the segments now. You know, in this one, but this one it wasn't really like that. So a bit of swings and roundabouts. But basically, I think that's probably about right again. I think it is probably about a 4 out of 5, I think. You know, it's a nice product basically, but I think definitely having it in the orange ball form, you know, the actual Terry's chocolate orange is a bit better, a bit more interesting, a bit more fun. But it's still nice to eat that way, because you can imagine it's basically the same thing, so more or less anyway. So yeah, so not too bad, not too bad. And the last one for 5 years ago, let's have a look. What did, here we go, yes, it's Dairy Milk Crunchy Bits, it's all, yes. So it's basically a Dairy Milk bar with bits of crunchy in there. Now there's a few, well, first of all, what did I give it? I gave this a very good mark, actually. I gave this 5 out of 5. You can still get this one, it's still around. I think they repackaged it slightly. And there was a few of this Dairy Milk Crunchy Rocks or something like that, where it's like these little clusters you get in the bag, and there's clusters of them. But the thing with those is, I'm sure they had bits of cereal in there as well as crunchy bits, and he didn't advertise it as being cereal, having cereal on it as well on the pack. So very disappointing, but you know, yeah, a bit frustrating that one. Whereas this one doesn't have that. It's basically just full of all crunchy pieces in a crunchy base of Cadbury's honeycomb bar covered in chocolate. And this is really nice. It's not padded out with any cereal pieces, as I say, unlike the Crunchy Rocks that they do. You know, it's just a really nice product. It's got lots of crunchy pieces in there. Crunchy is very nice. Honeycomb, basically, lovely. Really tasty. And I do think this one is, again, another one that's actually pretty much the same. I did enjoy this one. It's a very nice one indeed. I'm just trying to think, could you really... Yeah, I think it's definitely another 5 out of 5, basically. So, very nice one, actually. Very nice, that one. Really, really nice to enjoy. And I think... yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, basically. I think that's the only negative you can say about it. It's not got loads of excitement in there. But I don't know, the honeycomb is really nice, and Dairy Milk chocolate is really nice. I think it's just a good combination, basically. So, I don't know. I enjoyed that one, for sure. So that's basically all we did for 5 years ago. We're 5 years back, so gone quite quick, this one, really. Let's have a look. So if I can just sort of swap the graphics over. Let's have a look. There we go. And let's have a see. Yes, there we are. I'll get rid of 5-star, which I forgot to get rid of. There we go. All right, good transition there. Quite quick for me. All right, there we are. So I give it away to give some, see if it actually works. Hopefully it will work. Let's have a look. Let's gift fire away. So best of luck. You got to opt in, by the way, to receive membership gifting. If you click on the, I think down here somewhere, it's like it says join or something like that. Click on that. There'll be like 3 dots or an options menu or a cog or something like that, and it'll say membership gifting or gifting options, and you have to, there's like a little toggle to slide in and out. So if you do that quickly, I can gift them away. So you have to do that. I say this every week. It's just, I think it's just because it's just Google, you know, YouTube covering their own packs, whatever, because you'll obviously be, you know, enabling gifting and receiving gifts and stuff like that. So there we go. But right, 3, 2, 1, let's gift them away. Let's see who gets them. Good luck, everyone. Good luck. See if I can see it as well. Right, there we go. So Poppycorn's got some again. So it does seem to do the same people quite frequently. And I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. I don't know. It usually goes to people who presumably view the channel and things like that. I'm assuming that's why it's doing it. But yes, it's one of those really. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm quite pleased that it does go to people who watch it. But you know, I don't know. I have no control over gifting it, so it looks like I'm just gifting it to the same people every time. But I'm not. It's just YouTube's algorithm, whatever. Anyway, Poppycorn, great to see you, Poppy. Hope you're doing well. And Rick B, of course. Good to see you, Rick. Yes, and Skywalker again. And Andy's Edits, probably at the gym. And Khaleesi B, well done, Khaleesi. We're about 3 in a row now, I think, Khaleesi. Yeah, so I hope you're all enjoying the channel. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. And so let me know what you think of the memberships as well. So I'm trying to, it's a difficult one. I basically do all my videos, I put as members first, really. So for the first 2 or 3 days, they go to sort of member exclusives. Also, every now and again, we'll publish a video for all members that they can see, probably one a month. And Bronze Hour members get one, hopefully once a week, although recently it's been a bit difficult, but that's the plan. But all right, let's see. Right, okay, so let's go to, yes, 1 year ago. What did I review 1 year back? We saw one before, didn't we? Yes, Maltesers. Yes, let's go to that one first. Yes, so the Maltesers Raspberry Cake Bars. Now, it's a very strange one, this one. Now, first of all, what did I give it? I gave them a 3.5 out of 5, basically. Now, now, cake bars, there's a few issues I have with cake bars, generally. One big one is the fact that a lot of them are just sponge and things like this. You know, it's one of those where there's just lots of sponge going on, not much else, and they all follow a very similar templates. Well, of course, a lot of the products are not really very, you know, they're based on, like Maltesers, for instance. Where's the sponge in that? You know, one of them. Hi, Skywalker. Good to see you. Yes, how's it going? I'm not doing too bad. How are you doing? How are you doing? Good to see you, by the way. Good to, it's been a while since I saw you last. How are you doing? And well done in membership again. You're pretty lucky with those, I must say. Hope you like the membership, by the way. Hope you're enjoying it. Good to see you on the channel. Good to see you. Ah, yeah, and how are you doing today? But yes, these ones, yeah, cake bars, I don't know. What's the cake association with Maltese? And of course, you could say, well, it's a cake bar. That's the association, that's the interest. But, you know, but basically, a lot of it is just cake. The only bit that's Maltese related is probably in the top, which is like little crunchy bits, but there's hardly any of those. A bit of cream in there, and of course raspberry as well. Is it raspberry or strawberry? What's the you know, there's no in the UK anyway. There's no raspberry or strawberry Maltesers. I think raspberry or strawberry biscuit Maltesers as well. But again, you know, it just seems very strange product, really, very confused product. So I'm not sure what to make of that. Yeah, so I don't know. Again, another one. And there's hardly any crunchy pieces as well, I thought, which was very odd. You know, crazy for a Maltesers product. So I think for me, it is probably, if anything, I'd give it lower, but I think it probably is a 3.5 out of 5, I think. But it's certainly closer to a 3 than a 4, that's for sure, you know. Just a bit of a strange product, a strange one. Not horrible or anything like that. It's still cake at the end of the day. Cake is usually pretty nice. But yeah, not just a strange product, basically a strange product. There we go. All right, let's see if I can find the picture as well. There we are. All right, so what else did we review? So yes, so we did some McDonald's ones a year ago as well. The sort of Biscoff McFlurry as well. Now I did well, I'll come to it in a minute actually. What did I give it first of all? Let's have a see. I didn't give it too high a rating actually. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Is the gist of it. Yes. Oh, glad you're well. And yes, I'm always looking to my membership rolls. Had to click in as I never win anything. I say. Oh well, all your luck's going to. Unfortunately, I know you probably would rather win the lottery, I guess, but at least you're winning something. But yeah. No, well, good to see you though. Glad you're doing well as well. Yeah, great to see you. Got any plans for today, by the way? What are you up to? Nice weather where we are, but yeah, hopefully it's good weather where you are as well. Oh dear. But yes, the McFlurry, yeah. So the problem with this one was a lot of all the things. It had lots of nice crunchy bits in there, like caramel sauce in there as well, which complements sort of like caramelised biscuit pretty well, as you can imagine. But the problem with it is, you can see the size of the tub there. All the things that make this Biscoff are all at the top. The caramel sauce, the crunchy pieces, the biscuit pieces, whatever. All these bits, all at the top, basically. So I would recommend, you can get like 2 versions of a McFlurry. And I'm sure the mini one is actually half the size and half the price, so you're not losing out. But it does mean you get a better ratio of sort of content to ice cream, or I'm assuming it is ice cream in McFlurries. So if you get the small ones, they're the ones to get, the mini ones, the mini McFlurries, because you basically, as I say, the bits that make it what it is, you get a lot more of them to the to ice cream ratio. So that is definitely my little hack for that. But as it stands, you know, I think I might have had the mini one. I'm not sure. I can't remember now which one I had. But either way, you know, that is the problem with these ones. It should just be. I guess you can mix it in. Maybe that's a solution. I don't know, but it does seem like it should be mixed in for you. So I think it's probably well. I think I was probably possibly a bit harsh. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think because it's still quite nice ice cream, this, that, and the other, but it is disappointing. You know, I think that's the problem. So you know, I probably docked it half a mark last time, and you know, I think that's probably fair enough. But you know, it shouldn't be that way, really. It shouldn't be that way. So there we go. For some reason, there we go. Yes, and for some of those most overhyped items, in your opinion. Yeah, they sell well though. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's because, well, they don't do really many other decent desserts, and the milkshake machine's usually not working. So it's probably what it is. But also the fact is that as I was mentioning, the toppings are all, well, the things that make it what it is are all at the top. You know, so you have like a couple of spoonfuls deep, and then everything's gone. So it's yeah, really disappointing. Really, I think. Yeah, I do quite like them, but they're just like you said, they are a bit overhyped. And certainly, yeah, I don't know, but I do have a bit of a spot for them. But yeah, like you say, they should be better than they are. But the mini ones, the half-size ones, I think are where it's at. They're the ones to get, because of better proportion, I think. It's definitely a weird ice cream as well. I don't know if it is really actually ice cream. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a very interesting, strange substance. But it's yeah, but it's definitely cool. That's something. And then we had another one from McDonald's as well. Another one. Yeah, what was this? What was this officially called? Now, some people were recommending me to review this one. I remember at the time, it was the let's have a see, caramel. It was the McDonald's Galaxy Caramel Pie. It was. I think you do a regular apple pie, and it was a spin on that basically. Now, what did I give this? I gave this. I was a bit disappointed with this one actually. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. You know, what's your favourite McFlurry, Roberto? Hard question. Yeah, I done well to be honest with you. Which ones I've had that I really enjoyed? I think they are quite similar, like you say. I think the ones that I tend to like, I think I quite like I think it was the Cadbury Buttons one. I think it was quite boring, I guess you'd say, but I don't know why. I just quite liked it. I think just because maybe it was the first one I had, or something like that. I don't know, but it was a difficult one. But they don't tend to. They never really blow you away, do they? Let's face it. I think I see what you're saying. So when you think about your favourite one, it's quite a difficult one. I mean, do you have a favourite one? It sounds like you're not too keen, so maybe you don't. But maybe one stood out to you. But I must admit, they are quite similar, and I feel like they don't quite execute them as well as they should do. As I say, you know, it's a shame really. I feel like they could do a great job of them really, but that was part of the problem with this one. They didn't execute this well either. This Galaxy Caramel Pie. I mean, the pastry had a nice crunch to it, and you can taste the caramel, even though there's not much of it. But the caramel wasn't really Galaxy caramel like it was more like Cadbury caramel, so it's that sort of thicker, buttery style caramel really. But there's no chocolate either. There's nothing Galaxy about it. There was no chocolate. I think the pastry itself was kind of chocolatey-ish, but it wasn't. There was no chocolate. So it just didn't have any kind of real semblance to Galaxy caramel. So it was a disappointing one. I think it was a limited edition one as well. I don't think it's around anymore. But I think the same. 2.5 out of 5 basically. Yeah. So it was a bit of a disappointing one, that one. But you know, your typical limited edition. But it was interesting to have. You know, and I've not had one before. I don't think I think I got it at the same time. I think that's when I saw the Biscoff McFlurry. I think I got it at the same time. Thinking, I'll do both at once basically. All right, so there we go. Right, getting through them quite quickly to the last one. Actually, I just reviewed the straightforward Cadbury's Dairy Milk. I think they did their limited edition wrappers last year. Basically a little 200-year anniversary wrapper. So they did like a 1990s one, 80s one, 70s one, noughties one basically, maybe a 60s one, I'm not sure. So it took me back because the 80s, 90s ones were the ones I remember when I was younger. You know, one of those. I remember the first one I had, like you, the giant Cadbury Butter McFlurry. There's photo online somewhere from way back. Maybe that was the one I had. I do remember it being distinctly quite nice, and I enjoyed it. I think it's just the novelty of it, maybe because it was the first one I had. I don't know, but I think it was. You know, there was no I don't think there was a sauce in it or anything like that. I think it was just literally bits of butter. I think. But yeah, there's photos of it online somewhere from way back. Yeah, maybe that's maybe the first one was the best one. Yeah, was it really nice then, Skywalker? What was the difference with it, Skywalker? What was what was about it that was really nice? As I say, it was a long time since I had that one, but it does remember. It does stick in my head. But yeah, well, Cadbury Butters aren't quite dairy milk. It's not the same chocolate really, but it just is it the same chocolate? I think it is the same chocolate, isn't it? Cadbury Butters actually. So I was going to say they do hit the same. So yeah. So this one I actually gave this. I feel like it's probably a bit low, this one, actually. What did I give it? Have I gone too far? Yeah, 4 out of 5 I gave it, actually. It's got a majestic aroma. It's a lovely aroma, Cadbury's Dairy Milk. Lovely velvety taste as well. Lovely big chunks in this bar as well, which was really nice. And love the individual wrapping and things like this. But it's nice, it is just a block of chocolate, you know, and perhaps not as good as I remembered it being, I said. So, I don't know, I feel like maybe that's a bit harsh. Maybe it should be 4.5. But I did say perhaps it's not as good as I remembered it being. So I'm sure if when I started this channel, this would have been a 5 out of 5. And I do still like it a lot. But there's definitely other chocolates I like as much. And I don't know if think they're all 5 out of 5s. But some of them, like Phaser's Blue Chocolate, I do quite like. I like some of the Lindt's classic recipe milk chocolate as well. Pretty nice also. So yeah, there's a few out there that are just interesting, nice milk chocolates. So I don't know, maybe they should all be higher up as well. I don't know. So it's a 4.5. On another day, it could be a 4.5 out of 5. I think, you know, so bear that in mind. It's a 4.5 out of 5. I don't know. I'll keep it at a 4 for now. I think I'll keep it at a 4, but it could easily be a 4.5 out of 5. It's certainly a lot closer to that than the 3.5. That's for sure. But I'll just to keep my feet on the ground, I'll keep it the same for the moment. You know. But it could be 4. You know, 4.5. If it's going to be anything, it'd be 4.5 out of 5. But there we are. I think it's one of those. I think. Oh dear. Right, well there we go, guys. I guess that's the eight products basically. Got there quite quick today. You know, it's one of those really. I think well no, sometimes they go a bit quicker, the Stash Watches, sometimes they don't. This, that and the other. So quite a few interesting products. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to all these all my reviews of these in the description. You can watch them after the event as well. And what I'll also do is let's see what I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say something else. I won't bother saying that. You're not. Well, yeah, I'll put all the links in the description basically, so you can find them out there and see what you think. And let me know what you reckon as well to these ones, whether any of the bars that you missed or what have you, or wish they would come back, or I don't know really. Yeah, interesting one. I mean, I don't know. I guess ones from this one. Maybe there's some of the McDonald's ones will come back. The Maltesers cake bars as well. They're from a year back as well. I guess the limited edition digest, quite a few actually that are probably not around anymore from this look back actually. So there's quite a few there. What do you reckon to these digestive flavours as well? Let me know what you reckon to those. I mean, I don't know. I always feel like they're good, but I just wish they were better. I just wish they did a better job of them somehow. You know, they just don't seem to quite do them as well as I would have liked, basically. So it is an interesting one, but yeah. So there we go. Right, well, that brings us to the end of Stash Watch episode 56. Is it 65, rather? 65, yes. That brings us to the end of this one. Hope you enjoyed it. It's great to see you all. Yeah, great to see you, Skywalker. Well done on your membership as well. Popcorn also, and Rick, and Andy's Edits, and Khaleesi B as well. Well done indeed, yes. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all have a great weekend also. And yeah, I'm glad I've worked out to give the gifting again, so goodness me. Why YouTube makes things difficult, I don't know, but there we go, it does. Alright guys, well take care Skywalker, enjoy your weekend, and everyone else too who's watching, have a great time, and I'll see you next one. Probably another look back next week, but it could be a Stash Watch, who knows, but either way, I'll see you then. Bye for now. See ya.